God uses small people and things to achieve his great end. I remember once when I was in seminary, I was just in one of those seasons where my prayer life felt dry, and I was just kind of struggling and wondering, why am I bothering? Why am I doing everything that I'm doing? So one afternoon I went for a walk around the campus, and as I walked along the trail, for whatever reason, I picked up a little twig which was on the trail. I snapped the twig between my fingers, and I just simply thought to myself, look at this little twig, a dead piece of wood which snaps so easily, and then it is gone. And then I thought about my life, and I thought against the backdrop of eternity, I'm just like this little twig. And as I thought of my own mortality and my own littleness, the thought come to me, well, how great is our God that he has come to me and that he's called me to be his priest. Little things God uses to achieve great ends. Similarly, one day when I was in seminary, for whatever reason, I was in a bad mood. I was standing in our dining room, the refectory, and as I was standing there, probably drinking a cup of coffee, I started feeling this tug the back of my pant leg. I looked over my shoulder, and I didn't see anything. So I kept drinking my coffee. I probably had a scowl on my face, and then soon I felt more tugging. This time I looked over my shoulder, and then I looked down, and there was a little girl there with big brown eyes looking up at me. She told me her name was Teresa, and that in the weekend coming, she was going to be making her first confession, and then right after that, her first Holy Communion. She ended by asking me to pray for her. And with that little encounter, my mood, which was so bad, melted my heart instantly, and I couldn't help but smile. God uses small people and things to achieve his great end. Can you think of something in your own life which was very small, but perhaps had such a significant impact on your mood for a given day, or perhaps even the direction of your life in a bigger way? Once there was a young peasant farmer from France who went to the seminary. At seminary, he proved himself to be a slow learner. And in fact, they only ordained him not because he had the acumen, but because rather he seemed to be very, very devout. In the year 1818, the bishop sent him to a small town distant from the big city of Lyon. It was isolated, it was a farming community, and the village was called Ars. The population of Ars was about 230 people. By the year 1855, 20,000 pilgrims a year were going to that little town to hear that little peasant farmer who became a priest, to hear his words of teaching, to listen to his words of catechesis, and to hope for the opportunity to go to him for confession. That man's name was Saint Jean-Marie Vianney, the holy curé of Ars. God uses small people and things to achieve his great end. Similarly, we can all think of the great Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was a towering figure, standing 5 feet tall. But at the time of her death, the Missionaries of Charity, the order which she founded, numbered about 5,000 sisters and was active in over 130 countries in the world, serving the poorest of the poor. God uses small people and things to achieve his great end. In our gospel today, we saw the disciples with our Lord. To feed the 5,000, they only had 5 loaves and 2 fish. So little. We can think of the little things that we give to God. But God uses the little things that we give, perhaps even our very selves, to achieve his great end. So my prayer today for me and my prayer for you is that when we receive God's inspirations, let us hold nothing back from responding to his call, because God uses small people and things, even people like us, and the things that we have to achieve his great end.